Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Great to see you over here. I hope you all are doing amazing. Today we are going to continue our journey of chapter 1, cell structure and function for class 9 science. So let's quickly jump into the second part and explore more about the cell. So in the previous session we have discussed about unicellular organism and multicellular organism. So now in this session let's explore more about it. Okay. So unicellular organisms are those organisms which have only single cell, means only one cell. Here it is written, organism made up of only one cell or single cell is known as unicellular organisms. Here in unicellular, uni already means one or single. Cellular means cell. Okay, so that means single cell organism. Okay, unicellular organisms are single celled organisms, and multicellular organisms which are made up of more than one cell, means they can be thousand, they can have 1,000 cells, they can have a billion cell, they can have 100 cell, they can have more than one cell, means they can have unlimited cells in them. Okay, so they are known as multicellular organisms. Then in the unicellular organism they have only single cell, so that single cell performs all the life functions. Yes, I'm not kidding, that single cell performs all the life function, means digestion, yes, excretion, yes, circulation, yes, all the life functions this single cell alone does in the unicellular organisms. So in multicellular organism there are different cells, so they perform different type of functions. Like for excretion there are different cells, and for respiration there are different types of cells available, and for circulation different types of cells are available for that also. And some example of unicellular organisms are bacteria, amoeba, paramecium, yeast, etc. More microorganisms are unicellular organisms. Okay. Then we have multicellular organisms. They are plants, animals, insects and humans. Yes, humans is also multicellular organism. They have trillions of cells. Okay, so can you tell me the answer of one question, that what is the largest living cell that exists on the earth? I can give you a hint. It is very big. Like it is related to bird. It is related to a bird. Yes, you got it. That is ostrich egg. Ostrich egg is the largest living cell. And now can you tell me what is the smallest living cell that exists on the earth? Tell. That is mycoplasma. Okay, learn these two amazing facts. So moving to our next topic, that is microscope. Before starting this topic, I have a question for you guys. We have studied what is cell. We have also studied that discoveries related to cell. We have also studied whom discovered the cell. Robert Hooke, right? So can you all tell me by what machine did he discover the cell? Typical? No. He discovered the cell by using microscope. This machine, because we cannot see cell by our naked eyes, so he used microscope to discover the cell. Okay, so let's study about microscope. So microscope always have a converging lens, and that is known as convex lens. We have also studied about convex and concave lens in our previous classes. Okay, so microscope have a converging lens which is known as convex lens. Important. And microscope can be the combination of lens. How the combination of lens? I have told you in previous class that the Robert Hooke used his self-designed microscope, but that microscope have 4 to 5 lenses in them. Okay, and he has, by using that microscope, he has discovered that. So hence it is proved that microscope can have the combination of lenses. Yes, so on the basis of this there are two type of microscope. Okay, one is compound microscope and second is simple microscope. By the word simple, what you mean? That is, it is a simple microscope which is used in schools. And in a school, in your lab? Yes, in your lab. And compound microscope are very complicated. With the name, it is also telling you it is very complicated. That means all the big scientists use this microscope, and this simple microscope are used in schools for just teaching and for just doing some scientific activities. Okay, and compound microscope is the combination of lenses, whereas simple microscope has only one lens. Yes, and only one convex lens they have. But in compound microscope, they have combination of lens. They can be have many lenses, but main are two lenses. So their name is eyepiece and second is objective lens. These two lenses are important in compound microscope. Okay, and these microscope are used in labs by the scientists. Okay, so there are two pictures you have seen. So this is compound microscope and this is very simple microscope. Okay, you can see over here there is the body tube, or you can say it is a tube. Here you can see, and there is only one lens over here, and here should be a bacteria or whatever what you have to see, bacteria, fungus or whatever, and here's the lens you can see over here. These type of microscope are available in schools for just activities. Okay, whereas these big type of microscope, you can see how complicated the picture is. Yes, so these are compound microscope. These microscope are used by scientists for experiments, for for discoveries and many more things. Yes sir. Now the main lens that I was talking about, that is eyepiece and objective lens, both are over here. Yes sir, you can see one lens is over here, this, and this is known as eyepiece. How can you remember this? That is because from that point you will see what is, you will just discover everything. Okay, here should be like, consider here is the bacteria. Okay, now from that eyepiece lens you will see the bacteria. So there is a lens. Okay, so this lens is known as eyepiece, near to your eye. And a easy way to remember is that the lens from you see or which is near to your eye, that is eyepiece. Okay, now there is a body tube over here also. This is the body tube. Then we have three lenses, or they can be one, because I told you earlier that compound microscope have combination of lenses. So here many lenses can be. Okay, so over here three are there. So these lenses are known as objective lenses. That is the second lens, objective lens. So at this corner you will put your object, means bacteria, fungus, whatever you have to check or whatever you have to discover. Okay, the scientists will put the object over here, and these lenses will examine the object, and then you can see from the eyepiece. So these lenses are near to object, are your object, whatever you have put in, bacteria, fungus, algae or whatever. Okay, so these are known as objective lens, means it is near to our object, the objective lens, and which is near to our eye, from where we are seeing, the eyepiece. Okay, now we are going to study substance present in cell and their function. Okay, this is a topic in which we are going to cover that what substances are present in the cell, what are the main substances that are present in the cell, and what are their function. Actually there are three main and important terms, that is you have to learn them, that plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasma. They are the three terms. We are going to understand them and their function. Okay, first of all, moving toward the plasma membrane, it is also known as the cell membrane. Okay, it is also known as cell membrane. Okay, what it is the outermost covering of the cell, means plasma membrane is the outermost covering of every cell. Okay, this is a cell. Okay, this is the outermost covering. This is known as cell membrane or plasma membrane. Okay, what does this outermost covering does? Let me tell you. It allows or permit the entry and exit of some material in and out of the cell. Means it allows, it gives the permission to come inside the cell or go outside the cell. Okay, it does that. Then by the process of diffusion, CO2 and O2 etc. can move across the cell membrane. Diffusion is a process that you will understand in higher classes, but here is a fact given in your NCERT book that CO2 and O2 and many gases when move across the cell membrane or plasma membrane, it does the process of diffusion. Without diffusion, it cannot move across the cell membrane. Okay, this is small thing. Then moving toward the nucleus, it have double layered covering called nuclear membrane. So this double layered covering of nucleus is known as nuclear membrane. Okay, what does this nuclear membrane do? Like this is the nucleus, then it is the nuclear membrane. Okay, the nuclear membrane have pores. Pores are like this, they have holes in them. Okay, pores which allows the transfer of material from inside the nucleus to outside. If some material want to go outside of nucleus, like it is want to go outside of nucleus, it will exit from the pores of nuclear membrane. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, then moving toward the cytoplasma, it is a term, it is very important term, you have to learn it, that substance filling the interior of the cell. What it is? Cytoplasma is the substance that fills the gap in the cell. Means here is mitochondria, it is the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, mitochondria, nucleus, cell membrane, and the gap between all these terms are filled by cytoplasma. Okay, cytoplasma fill these terms. Okay, it is a very thick jelly type substance. Okay, which contain 80% of water, salt and organic proteins and nutrients. Yes, but the placing of cytoplasma depends on what type of cell it is. Actually, there are two type of cell: eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. Okay, in eukaryotic cell, this cytoplasma is present between the cell membrane. Cell membrane is this, means plasma membrane. Okay, between the plasma membrane, the boundary of the cell, and the nucleus. This nucleus, in the gap between the nucleus and the cell membrane is filled by cytoplasma in eukaryotic cell only, not prekaryotic. Okay, eukaryotic cell are those cells which have nucleus in them. Yes, but whereas in prekaryotic cell, the cytoplasma occupies all the space, means there is no nucleus, so it covers all the cell, all the space inside the cell. Okay, interior of the cell, it covers all the interior of the cell. Guys, do you all know that the plant cell also have plasma membrane in the outermost covering of the cell, but they have one more term in them that covers the plasma membrane. More term? What can that be? I will tell you. That is cell wall. Actually, for example, it is a plant cell and here it is a nucleus and this is the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. It also have a rigid covering that is known as cell wall, which covers the plasma membrane, which protect whole cell. Now let's cover our last topic, that is differentiate between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So the first difference is that size of the cell is generally small. Means in prokaryotic cell, the size of the cell in comparison to eukaryotic cell, it is very small. Okay, whereas in eukaryotic cell, the size of the cell is generally large. Okay, in eukaryotic cell, the cell is very large. The second difference, which is the main difference to differentiate between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, is that is nucleus present or absent. In prokaryotic cell, nucleus is absent, whereas in eukaryotic cell, nucleus is present. Then the third difference is that the prokaryotic cell have always unicellular, means only have one single cell. Yes, Whereas in eukaryotic cell, it can be unicellular and multicellular both. More than one and can be single celled. Then moving toward the fourth difference, that is cytoplasma is present but cell organelles are absent. What is cytoplasma? We have understood earlier that cytoplasma is a very thick jelly type substance which cover the gaps between the cell in the interior of the cell. Okay, in prokaryotic cell, cytoplasma is present but cell organelles are absent. What is cell organelles? Cell organelles are very special component in cell which do special functioning like removing the waste, giving energy and all. Okay, in eukaryotic cell, cytoplasma is present and cell organelles are also present. Yes, some example of prokaryotic cell is bacteria and bacillus. And in some example of eukaryotic cell is plant and animal cell. Plant and animal cell, both the cells. Then we have a diagram of prokaryotic cell to make you understand that there does not have nucleus in it. Instead of nucleus, in prokaryotic cell they have nucleoid. In eukaryotic cell there is a nucleus, there is mitochondria, there is plasma membrane, cell membrane. Yes, this mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell which provide energy to the cell. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it and learned all about the cell. Now I will meet you in part 3 where we will understand the animal cell, plant cell and human cell. Okay, in detail. So till then, take care. Bye bye.